Dad abandons disabled son at bus stop in the rain. The rain fell hard that November evening in Chicago. The kind of cold, relentless rain that soaks through clothes in seconds and chills you straight to the bone. Marcus Williams sat in the back of his chauffeured Mercedes, reviewing business documents on his tablet, barely noticing the weather outside his tinted windows. He was one of Chicago's wealthiest black businessmen. Built a tech company from nothing. Worth $300 million. On his way home from another long day of meetings and deals. Tired. Ready for a hot meal and his quiet penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan. Then his driver James slowed the car suddenly. "Mr. Williams, sir. There's a child at that bus stop. Alone. In this rain." Marcus looked up from his tablet. Through the rain-streaked window, he saw a small figure huddled on a bench at the bus stop on 79th Street. A boy. Couldn't be more than 10 or 11 years old. Soaked through. Shivering violently. And beside him on the bench, a pair of metal crutches. The child was disabled. And completely alone in the freezing rain as darkness fell. Marcus felt his chest tighten. "James, pull over. Right now." The Mercedes pulled to the curb. Marcus grabbed his umbrella and stepped out into the rain. As he walked closer to the bus stop, he could see the boy more clearly. Thin. Trembling. Tears mixing with rain on his face. And clutched in his small hands, a piece of paper that was disintegrating in the downpour. "Son, are you all right? Where are your parents?" The boy looked up with the most heartbroken eyes Marcus had ever seen. "My daddy said he'd be right back. He told me to wait here. But that was a long time ago and he's not coming back, is he?" Marcus's heart shattered. "How long have you been sitting here?" "Since school ended. The sun was still out when he left me." Marcus looked at his watch. 6:45 p.m. School ended at 3. This child had been sitting alone at this bus stop for nearly 4 hours. In the rain. Disabled. Abandoned. "What's your name, son?" "Isaiah. Isaiah Bennett. I'm 10 years old. I have cerebral palsy. That's why I need the crutches." The boy's voice broke. "My daddy said I'm too much trouble. Too expensive. Too hard. He said he can't do it anymore." And then Isaiah said something that would change both their lives forever. "Mister, my daddy's not coming back, is he? He left me here because he doesn't want me anymore." Hello friends, welcome to Black Tales Everyday. Before we start, please like this video and subscribe. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. This story is about a father's unforgivable betrayal and a stranger's incredible compassion. Marcus Williams grew up on the south side of Chicago in Englewood. His mama Dorothy raised him alone after his father left when Marcus was 6. She worked 3 jobs. Cleaned office buildings at night. Cashier at a grocery store during the day. Took in laundry on weekends. Did whatever it took to keep food on the table and Marcus in decent clothes for school. She taught him 2 things that shaped his whole life. Work hard. And never forget where you came from. Marcus did both. Graduated top of his class from Dunbar High School. Got a full scholarship to Illinois Institute of Technology. Studied computer science. Worked part-time jobs while carrying a full course load. Graduated with honors. Started his first tech company in his mama's basement. The first company failed. The second one barely survived. The third one, Tech Bridge Solutions, took off. He developed software that helped small businesses manage their operations. Something big companies had but small businesses couldn't afford. He made it accessible. Made it affordable. Made it work. 10 years later, Tech Bridge Solutions was worth $300 million. Marcus employed over 200 people, most of them from Chicago's black communities. Good paying jobs with benefits and respect. He believed what his mama taught him. Lift while you climb. Bring others up with you. His mama Dorothy lived in a beautiful house in Hyde Park now. Retired. Comfortable. Proud of her son but always reminding him not to get too comfortable. "Baby, success is a blessing from God. But it's also a responsibility. You help others who are struggling like we struggled." Marcus took that seriously. Donated to schools. Funded scholarships. Supported youth programs. But he'd never done anything as personal as what he was about to do. Standing at that bus stop in the rain, looking at Isaiah's terrified face, Marcus made a decision. This child wasn't going to spend another minute abandoned and alone. "Isaiah, I'm Marcus Williams. And you're coming with me. We're going to find out what happened with your father. We're going to make sure you're safe. And we're going to figure this out together. But I don't know you. That's true. But I know what it's like to feel abandoned. My father left me when I was 6 years old. Just walked out one day and never came back. I know that pain. And I'm not going to let you sit in that pain one more second. Marcus got Isaiah into the warm Mercedes. James turned the heat up high. Marcus wrapped the shivering boy in his own coat. The paper Isaiah had been clutching fell to the car floor. Marcus picked it up carefully. It was barely readable from the rain, but he could make out the words written in messy handwriting. Isaiah, wait here. Someone will come get you. You'll have a better life without me. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. Dad. Marcus felt rage burn through him. What kind of man abandons his disabled child at a bus stop with a note? Isaiah, tell me about your father. What's his name? David Bennett. He's my daddy. Just him and me since I was born. My mama died when I was a baby. Daddy said she had complications after I was born because I came early and was sick. Does your daddy work? He used to. He was a mechanic. But he got hurt at work last year. His back. Can't work anymore. We lost our apartment 2 months ago. Been staying with his friend Terry. But Terry's girlfriend said we had to leave. Said she didn't sign up to take care of a crippled kid. Marcus flinched at the word. You're not crippled, Isaiah. You have cerebral palsy. That's different. That's what the doctors say. But everybody treats me like I'm broken. Like I'm too much trouble. The kids at school call me names. Say I walk funny. Say I'm slow. My daddy tries but I can see it in his eyes. I'm a burden. He's tired of me. What happened today? How did you end up at that bus stop? Isaiah's tears came harder. Daddy picked me up from school. Said we were going somewhere special. But then he pulled up to the bus stop. Told me to get out. Said to wait there. That someone would come for me. That I'd be better off. Then he drove away. I called after him but he didn't stop. I've been waiting since 3 o'clock. I thought maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he'd come back. But he's not coming back, is he? I don't know, son. But what I do know is you're not sitting at that bus stop anymore. You're safe now. Marcus called his lawyer first. Brother Andre Davis from Greater Faith Baptist Church. Explained the situation. Andre said to take Isaiah to the emergency room to get checked out. Document everything. Call DCFS. File a police report. Then Marcus called his mama. Mama, I need you. I just found a 10-year-old boy abandoned at a bus stop. Disabled. Alone. Father left him with a note. I need your help. Dorothy Williams didn't hesitate. Bring him to my house. I'll get the guest room ready. You did right, baby. You bring that child home. At Northwestern Memorial Hospital, doctors examined Isaiah. Dehydrated. Mildly hypothermic from sitting in the cold rain. Undernourished. Bruises on his arms and back in various stages of healing. The doctor looked at Marcus seriously. These bruises suggest ongoing physical abuse. We're required to report this. Police came. Took statements. Put out an APB for David Bennett. DCFS social worker arrived. Explained that Isaiah would need emergency placement. Foster care. Marcus spoke up immediately. I want to take him. Emergency foster placement. I have resources. I have space. I can provide everything he needs while this gets sorted out. The social worker looked skeptical. Mr. Williams, emergency foster placement requires background checks, home studies, training. That takes time. How much time? Weeks. Maybe months. I'll pay for expedited processing. I'll do whatever needs to be done. But that child is not going to a group home or foster care with strangers. Not tonight. Not after what he's been through. Brother Andre stepped in. I can vouch for Marcus Williams. He's a member in good standing at Greater Faith Baptist Church. Successful businessman. No criminal record. Strong community ties. Let him take Isaiah home tonight under my supervision as a character witness. Start the official process tomorrow. After hours of paperwork and negotiations, Isaiah was released into Marcus's temporary emergency custody. Exhausted. Overwhelmed. Dorothy Williams had the guest room ready when they arrived at her house in Hyde Park. Fresh sheets. Clean pajamas in Isaiah's size that she'd run out to buy. Hot food waiting. Chicken soup. Cornbread. Sweet tea. Isaiah stood in the doorway looking overwhelmed. The house was beautiful. Warm. Clean. Nothing like the places he'd been living. "Come here, baby," Dorothy said gently. She was a small woman but her presence filled the room with warmth. "You hungry?" Isaiah nodded. He was starving. Hadn't eaten since breakfast at school. Dorothy sat him at the kitchen table and put food in front of him. He ate like he was afraid it would disappear. She and Marcus exchanged worried looks. This child had been neglected for a long time. "Isaiah," Dorothy said gently, "when's the last time you had a real meal?" "I don't know, ma'am. We ran out of food stamps. Daddy said we had to wait till next month. I get lunch at school. That's usually my meal for the day." Marcus felt sick. This child had been starving. Living with an injured, desperate father who couldn't provide. And instead of asking for help, David Bennett had abandoned his son at a bus stop like garbage. After dinner, Dorothy helped Isaiah take a hot bath. Marcus could hear her talking to him gently through the bathroom door. Telling him he was safe. That nobody was going to hurt him. That he could rest now. Isaiah came out in clean pajamas, looking like a different child. His wet, matted hair was clean and combed. His thin face was scrubbed. But his eyes still held terror. "Mr. Williams, are you going to leave me too? When you get tired of me?" Marcus knelt down to Isaiah's eye level. "Listen to me carefully. I don't know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow or next week. I don't know where your father is or why he did what he did. But I promise you this. I will not abandon you. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. Not ever. You hear me? But you don't even know me. Why would you help me? Because somebody helped me once when I needed it. Because my mama taught me to look out for people who can't look out for themselves. And because you deserve better than what happened to you today." That night, Marcus slept on the couch in the living room while Isaiah slept in the guest room. He didn't want the boy to wake up scared and alone. Around 2 a.m., he heard crying. Found Isaiah sitting up in bed, sobbing. "What's wrong, son?" "I had a nightmare. That I was back at the bus stop. That nobody ever came. That I died there in the rain." Marcus sat on the edge of the bed. "You're safe. I'm right here. You're not at that bus stop anymore. You're never going back there. Promise?" "I promise." Isaiah fell back asleep eventually. Marcus stayed in the chair by the bed all night. Watching this broken child sleep. Wondering what kind of man abandons his disabled son. Wondering how he was going to fix this. In the morning, the social worker called with news. They'd found David Bennett. David Bennett was found passed out drunk in his friend Terry's basement. When police woke him and told him they were investigating child abandonment, he broke down crying. "I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't. He needs so much. Physical therapy. Doctor visits. Special equipment. Medications. I lost my job. Can't pay for any of it. I'm living in a basement. How am I supposed to take care of a disabled kid when I can't even take care of myself?" The police arrested him anyway. Child endangerment. Criminal neglect. He'd be arraigned in the morning. Marcus went to the police station. Demanded to speak with David Bennett. The detective let him have 10 minutes in the interview room. David Bennett looked terrible. Hollow eyes. Unshaven. Broken. Nothing like the monster Marcus had built up in his mind. Just a desperate man who'd made the worst possible choice. "You left your son at a bus stop in the rain," Marcus said, his voice hard. "You left him there for 4 hours. Disabled. Alone. Terrified. With a note saying you couldn't do it anymore." David couldn't meet his eyes. "I know. I know what I did. I'm a terrible father. You're worse than terrible. You're a coward. You don't understand. You're right. I don't understand. Because no matter how hard things got, no matter how desperate I was, I would never abandon a child like he was trash. You had options. Shelters. Churches. Social services. Family. You could have asked for help. I was ashamed. Too proud to admit I couldn't handle it. Every day I looked at Isaiah and saw my failure. Saw how I couldn't give him what he needed. The guilt ate me alive. So I convinced myself he'd be better off without me. That someone else would find him and give him a better life. So you traumatized your son for life to make yourself feel better. David's tears came hard. Is he okay? Did someone find him? I found him. Took him to the hospital. He's safe now. No thanks to you. Where is he? Somewhere you'll never touch him again. I'm filing for emergency custody. I have lawyers. Resources. I'm going to make sure you never get near Isaiah again unless you prove you deserve it. You can't take my son. You gave up that right when you left him at a bus stop. You want him back. Then you're going to have to fight for him. Get yourself together. Get counseling. Get a job. Get housing. Prove you can be a father. Until then, Isaiah stays with me. Marcus walked out. Let David Bennett sit with his choices. The preliminary custody hearing happened 3 days later. David Bennett showed up in handcuffs, facing criminal charges. The judge was not sympathetic. Mr. Bennett, you abandoned your disabled 10-year-old son at a bus stop in the rain. Left him for hours. He could have died. Been kidnapped. Been hurt. What you did is unconscionable. David's public defender tried to argue extenuating circumstances. Poverty. Depression. Lack of resources. The judge cut him off. Poverty is not an excuse for child endangerment. Depression is not an excuse for abandonment. Lack of resources is not an excuse for leaving a disabled child alone at a bus stop. This court is granting Mr. Marcus Williams temporary emergency custody of Isaiah Bennett pending further hearings. Mr. Bennett, you'll have supervised visitation only, if and when the court determines you've demonstrated rehabilitation. David looked broken. Can I at least say I'm sorry? Can I tell Isaiah I'm sorry? The judge looked at Marcus. Mr. Williams, it's your call. Marcus thought about it. Part of him wanted to say no. Wanted to protect Isaiah from more hurt. But another part knew Isaiah needed closure. One supervised visit. At my lawyer's office. With counselors present. Isaiah doesn't have to see him if he doesn't want to. The visit happened 1 week later at Brother Andre's law office. Isaiah came with Marcus and Dorothy. A child therapist sat in the corner observing. David Bennett sat on one side of a table looking like he'd aged 10 years in a week. When Isaiah walked in on his crutches and saw his father, he froze. Pain flashed across his face. Then anger. You left me, Isaiah said. His voice was small but hard. You left me in the rain. You said you were coming back but you lied. David's tears started immediately. Isaiah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I made a terrible mistake. The worst mistake of my life. You said I was too much trouble. That you couldn't do it anymore. You said I'd be better off without you. I was wrong. I was depressed and desperate and I wasn't thinking clearly. I convinced myself I was doing what was best for you. But I was really just running away from my problems. Why didn't you love me enough to keep trying? That question broke David completely. I do love you. I love you so much it hurts. That's the truth. But love wasn't enough. You needed things I couldn't provide. Medical care. Therapy. A stable home. I was failing you every day and I couldn't stand watching you suffer because of my failures. So you made me suffer worse by leaving me? Yes. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. Isaiah stood there on his crutches, this small 10-year-old boy, looking at his broken father. Do you want me back? More than anything in the world. Then why did you leave me? Because I'm weak. Because I was scared. Because I took the coward's way out instead of asking for help. Isaiah was quiet for a long time. Then he said something that shocked everyone in the room. Mr. Marcus says you can get better. That you can get counseling and help and learn to be a better dad. Is that true? David looked at Marcus with surprise. Marcus nodded. That's what I told him. That people can change if they want to badly enough. Isaiah turned back to his father. I don't want to live with you right now. You hurt me too bad. But maybe someday, if you get better, we could try again. Would you do that? Would you get better for me? David's voice broke. Yes. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go to counseling. I'll get a job. I'll get housing. I'll prove I can be the father you deserve. Okay. But until then, I'm staying with Mr. Marcus. He's taking care of me. And Miss Dorothy. They're my family now. Part 6. The visit ended. As they left, Isaiah turned back one more time. Daddy. I'm mad at you. I'm really mad. But I still love you. I just need you to love yourself enough to get help. David nodded through his tears. I will. I promise. Over the next 6 months, David Bennett did exactly what he promised. Attended court-ordered counseling twice a week. Joined a support group for single fathers. Got treatment for depression. Found a job doing computer repair, something he could do despite his back injury. Saved money. Got a small apartment. Showed up to every supervised visitation. Never missed one. Meanwhile, Isaiah bloomed. Marcus officially became his foster parent after passing all the background checks and home studies. Isaiah moved into Marcus's penthouse. Had his own room overlooking the lake. New clothes. Regular meals. Everything a child needed. But more than material things, Isaiah had stability. Marcus made sure he got to school every day. Attended his physical therapy appointments 3 times a week. Took him to doctor visits. Helped with homework. Read to him at night. Dorothy visited almost daily. Cooked meals. Helped with homework. Taught Isaiah to play chess. Became the grandmother he'd never had. At Greater Faith Baptist Church, the congregation embraced Isaiah. Sister Margaret brought him clothes from the donation center. Brother Thomas gave Marcus recommendations for the best physical therapists in Chicago. Sister Patricia tutored Isaiah to help him catch up academically. The choir mothers spoiled him with candy and hugs. Isaiah started smiling. Laughing. Acting like a kid should act. The terror in his eyes faded slowly, replaced with cautious hope. His physical therapist reported amazing progress. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Isaiah's mobility has improved significantly. He's stronger. More confident. The emotional stability is helping his physical development. His teachers reported similar progress. Isaiah went from barely passing to honor roll in 6 months. He's engaged. Participates. Helps other students. He's thriving. But the biggest change was internal. Isaiah started believing he had value. That he wasn't a burden. That his disability didn't define him. One night, 6 months after Marcus found him at that bus stop, Isaiah asked Marcus a question. Mr. Marcus, why did you stop for me that day? You didn't know me. You could have just driven past like everybody else did. Marcus thought carefully about his answer. You know how my father left me when I was 6? Left me feeling like I wasn't good enough to keep him around. Yes, sir. For years I struggled with that. Felt abandoned. Felt worthless. Then my mama sat me down and told me something I never forgot. She said my father leaving wasn't about me. It was about him. About his weakness. His failures. His inability to love properly. She said I couldn't control what he did, but I could control what kind of man I became. What kind of man did you become? The kind who stops when he sees a child alone in the rain. The kind who doesn't drive past suffering. The kind who uses his resources to help others. That's the man my mama raised me to be. So when I saw you at that bus stop, I saw myself. A child abandoned by his father. And I decided right then that your story didn't have to end the same way mine did. Do you ever think about your father? Sometimes. But I don't hate him anymore. I just feel sorry for him. He missed out on watching me grow up. Missed out on knowing me. Missed out on being part of something good. That's his loss, not mine. Do you think my daddy will get better? I think he's trying. He shows up to every visit. He's doing the work. Whether he succeeds or not is up to him. But here's what I know for sure, you're going to be okay either way. Because you're strong. You're smart. You're worthy of love. And you've got people who care about you now. Isaiah hugged Marcus tight. Thank you for stopping that day. Thank you for not driving past me. Thank you for giving me the chance to be part of your life. 1 year after finding Isaiah at the bus stop, Marcus faced a decision. David Bennett had completed his counseling. Had maintained his job for 8 months. Had a stable apartment. Had demonstrated consistent progress. The court was considering returning custody. Isaiah was terrified. I don't want to go back. I want to stay with you and Miss Dorothy. Marcus talked to his lawyer. What are our options? David's made significant progress. The court's goal is always reunification when possible. Unless you petition to adopt Isaiah, they'll likely return him to his father with continued supervision. What does Isaiah want? He wants to stay with you. But he's also conflicted because he loves his father. Marcus knew what he had to do. He called a meeting. David, Isaiah, the social worker, the therapist, brother Andre, and Marcus all sat down together. David, Marcus said, you've made incredible progress. You've done the work. You've shown up. You've proven you can maintain stability. The court is ready to give you another chance. David nodded, hopeful. But Isaiah doesn't want to leave. He's built a life here. He's thriving. He's happy and stable and healthy. And I love him like he's my own son. So what are you saying? I'm saying we need to figure out what's best for Isaiah, not what's best for you or me. And I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. Over the next week, with the help of therapists and social workers, they worked out a solution. Shared custody. Isaiah would live primarily with Marcus during the school year. Spend weekends with his father. Spend summers split between them. As David continued to prove stability, they'd adjust. This way, Marcus explained to Isaiah, you get both. You get the stability you need. But you also get to rebuild your relationship with your dad. Slowly. At a pace that feels safe. And if he messes up again, then we go back to the original custody arrangement. Your safety comes first. Always. Isaiah thought about it. Can I try it? Can we see if it works? Of course. The arrangement started slowly. Weekend visits at David's apartment with Marcus checking in. David picked Isaiah up from school on Fridays. Dropped him back on Sundays. At first, Isaiah was nervous. But gradually, he relaxed. David had changed. Really changed. His apartment was clean. He had food in the fridge. He took Isaiah to physical therapy. Helped with homework. Played games. Talked about his feelings. Apologized when he made mistakes. Isaiah, David said one Sunday evening before drop-off, I know I can never undo what I did. Leaving you at that bus stop is the worst thing I've ever done. But I want you to know I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I'm better than my worst moment. I know, Daddy. I see you trying. That's what matters. 2 years after the bus stop incident, the arrangement was working. Isaiah thrived with both families. Marcus and Dorothy gave him stability, resources, and unconditional love. David gave him the father-son relationship he'd been missing, rebuilt on a stronger foundation. Then one day, something happened that nobody expected. Marcus was going through paperwork for Isaiah's school enrollment when he noticed something on Isaiah's birth certificate he'd never paid attention to before. Mother's name, Angela Marie Bennett. Date of death, listed as 3 days after Isaiah's birth. But something didn't add up. Marcus had access to Isaiah's medical records now. He pulled them up. Found the hospital records from Isaiah's birth. Mother, Angela Marie Bennett, age 19. Father, David Bennett, age 21. Complications, premature birth at 32 weeks. Mother experienced severe postpartum complications. Then Marcus found something that made his heart stop. A note in the file from a social worker dated 2 months after Isaiah's birth. Mother Angela Bennett has made contact. She has recovered from medical complications. Requesting supervised visitation with infant Isaiah. Father David Bennett has refused contact. Claims mother abandoned the child. Court order needed for visitation rights. Marcus kept reading. Found more notes. Angela had tried for 2 years to see her son. David had blocked her at every turn. Told Isaiah his mother was dead. Told social workers she was unfit. Filed restraining orders claiming she was dangerous. Then the file went cold. No more mentions of Angela Bennett after Isaiah was 2 years old. Marcus sat back in shock. Isaiah's mother might be alive. David had been lying about her death. Had kept her from her son for 10 years. He had to find out the truth. Had to know if Angela Bennett was still out there. Had to know if Isaiah's mother was alive and looking for him. He hired a private investigator. Within 2 weeks, they found her. Angela Marie Bennett, age 29, living in Gary, Indiana. Working as a nurse. Single. And according to the investigator's report, she had a framed photo of baby Isaiah on her mantle. Had never stopped looking for her son. Marcus had to tell Isaiah. Had to tell David. Had to blow this secret wide open. Because Isaiah deserved to know his mother was alive. Marcus confronted David first. You told Isaiah his mother was dead. But she's alive. Living in Gary. Has been trying to find him for 10 years. Why did you lie? David's face went pale. How did you find out? I read Isaiah's medical records. Found the social worker notes. Found her. Now tell me why. David collapsed into a chair. When Isaiah was born premature with complications, Angela got really sick. Almost died. She was in the hospital for weeks. I was alone with this sick, premature baby and I was terrified. When she finally recovered, she was different. Distant. Depressed. I thought she blamed me for what happened to Isaiah. Thought she blamed the baby. So you kept her from her son. I was young and stupid and scared. I convinced myself Isaiah was better off without her. Told myself she didn't want him anyway. The longer I lied, the harder it became to tell the truth. So I just kept lying. Told Isaiah she died. Moved us away so she couldn't find us. Changed our phone number. You stole 10 years from both of them. I know. I know what I did was wrong. Does Isaiah deserve to know his mother is alive? David was quiet for a long time. Yes. He deserves the truth. Even though it means he'll hate me even more. Marcus arranged a meeting. Angela drove from Gary to Chicago. Met Marcus at a coffee shop first. She was small, looked young for her age, with Isaiah's eyes. Is he okay? Were her first words. Is my baby okay? He's alive and healthy. Thriving actually. But he thinks you're dead. His father told him you died after giving birth. Angela's tears came hard. I tried so hard to find him. David moved. Changed numbers. Blocked me. I hired lawyers but I had no money. I was a teenager. Nobody took me seriously. Eventually I lost track of them completely. But I never stopped looking. Never stopped hoping. Would you like to meet him? More than anything in the world. Marcus sat Isaiah down first. I need to tell you something. Something big. Something that's going to change everything you thought you knew. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. But I found out something about your mother. About Angela. My mama who died. Isaiah, your mother didn't die. She's alive. She's been alive this whole time. Your father lied to you. Isaiah's face went through shock, confusion, anger, hope, all in seconds. My mama's alive? Yes. And she's been looking for you for 10 years. Your father kept you from her. Told you she was dead. Moved away so she couldn't find you. Where is she? She's here. In Chicago. She came as soon as I told her I'd found you. She wants to meet you if you want to meet her. Isaiah started crying. I have a mama. A real mama. You have a real mama who loves you and never stopped looking for you. The meeting happened at Dorothy's house. Neutral territory. Safe. Angela waited in the living room, nervous, shaking. When Isaiah walked in on his crutches and she saw him for the first time in 10 years, she collapsed to her knees sobbing. My baby. My baby boy. You're so big. So handsome. Isaiah stood frozen, staring at this stranger who was his mother. You're really alive. I'm really alive. And I never wanted to leave you. Never wanted to miss your life. Your daddy kept us apart. But I never stopped loving you. Never stopped thinking about you every single day. Isaiah moved closer slowly. Why did daddy say you were dead? Because he was hurt and angry and made terrible choices. Just like he made a terrible choice leaving you at that bus stop. But we can't change the past. We can only decide what happens next. What do you want to happen next? I want to know you. I want to be your mama. I want to make up for lost time. Isaiah looked at Marcus. Is it okay? Marcus smiled through his own tears. It's more than okay. You deserve to have your mother in your life. Isaiah took a tentative step forward, then another. Angela stayed on her knees, letting him come to her at his own pace. When he finally reached her, she wrapped her arms around him gently, carefully, like he might break. I dreamed about this moment every night for 10 years, she whispered. Prayed for it. Begged God to let me find you. Isaiah hugged her back, awkward at first, then tighter. I used to dream about my mama too. Used to imagine what you looked like. What your voice sounded like. They stayed like that for a long time. Dorothy brought tissues. Marcus stepped back to give them space. This was their moment. Finally, Isaiah pulled back to look at her face. Do I look like you? Angela laughed through tears. You have my eyes. My nose. Your smile is all yours though. And you're so much more handsome than I ever imagined. I have cerebral palsy. Did you know? I knew you were born premature. That there were complications. But I didn't know the extent until Mr. Marcus told me. Does it hurt? Sometimes. But I have physical therapy. And Mr. Marcus got me the best doctors. I'm getting stronger. Angela looked at Marcus with overwhelming gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for taking care of my son when I couldn't. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for giving us this chance. He deserved to know you. Every child deserves their mother. Over the next hours, they talked. Angela told Isaiah about his birth. How scared she'd been. How sick she'd gotten. How much she'd wanted to be there for him. Isaiah told her about his life. School. Physical therapy. Living with Marcus. The bus stop. Everything. I'm so sorry you went through that, Angela said, holding his hands. If I'd known where you were, I would have come for you. Would have fought for you. I know, Mama. Mr. Marcus explained. It wasn't your fault. The word Mama made Angela break down again. Say it again. Please. Mama. Oh my baby. My beautiful baby boy. The next months were complicated. Angela, David, and Marcus had to figure out how to co-parent Isaiah. It wasn't easy. There was anger, resentment, hurt. But they all agreed on one thing: Isaiah came first. Family counseling helped. They worked through the past. David apologized to Angela for the decade he'd stolen from her. Angela worked on forgiving him. Marcus mediated when emotions ran high. They created a new custody arrangement. Isaiah lived primarily with Marcus during the school year because of stability and proximity to his school and doctors. Spent alternating weekends with David and Angela. Summers were split 3 ways. Isaiah now had 3 parents who loved him. For if you counted Dorothy, who insisted on being called Grandma. Angela proved to be an incredible mother. She was a nurse, so she understood Isaiah's medical needs better than anyone. She coordinated with his doctors. Learned his physical therapy routine. Advocated for him fiercely. David continued his growth. He apologized to Angela publicly at a family session. I robbed you of 10 years with your son because I was selfish and scared. I can't give you those years back. But I can promise to never keep him from you again. Marcus watched his unexpected family come together. He'd stopped for one child at a bus stop and ended up with an entire family. Angela became his friend. David became someone he could trust. Isaiah became the son he'd never had. 1 year after Isaiah met his mother, the whole family attended service at Greater Faith Baptist Church together. Marcus, Dorothy, Angela, David, and Isaiah. People whispered. Some judged. But Reverend Williams preached about redemption and second chances and family being more than blood. After service, Isaiah stood at the front with Marcus, Dorothy, Angela, and David around him. Reverend Williams laid hands on all of them. Lord, this family has been through fire. Been broken and put back together in ways that don't look traditional. But you don't call us to be traditional. You call us to love. To forgive. To fight for each other. Bless this family. Protect this child. Let them be a testimony that no situation is too broken for you to redeem. Amen, the congregation echoed. 2 years after the bus stop, Isaiah gave a presentation at school for Black History Month. The assignment was to talk about someone who inspired you. He chose Marcus. 2 years ago, my life was terrible. My father left me at a bus stop in the rain. I thought nobody wanted me. I thought I was a burden because of my disability. I thought I would die alone on that bench. The classroom was silent. Then Mr. Marcus Williams stopped his car. A billionaire who could have driven past. Who could have ignored me like everyone else did. But he stopped. He got out in the rain. He asked if I was okay. And he changed my whole life. Isaiah's voice got stronger. Mr. Marcus taught me that disability doesn't define you. That your past doesn't determine your future. That family isn't just about blood, it's about who shows up. Who stays. Who fights for you when you can't fight for yourself. He gave me a home. Got me medical care. Made sure I had food and clothes and stability. But more than that, he gave me hope. He helped me find my mother who I thought was dead. He helped my father get better. He built a family out of broken pieces. Isaiah stood taller on his crutches. People see Mr. Marcus as a billionaire businessman. But I see him as my hero. As the man who stopped when everyone else drove past. As the man who proved that one person caring can change everything. That's who inspires me. That's who I want to be like when I grow up. Someone who stops when others keep driving. Someone who helps when others ignore. Someone who builds bridges instead of walls. The teacher had tears in her eyes. Thank you, Isaiah. That was beautiful. Marcus, sitting in the back of the classroom as a surprise, stood up. Isaiah's face lit up when he saw him. Mr. Marcus. You came. Wouldn't miss it for the world, son. They hugged. The class applauded. And Isaiah whispered, thank you for stopping that day. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for letting me be your father. You made me better too. That's the story of Marcus Williams and Isaiah Bennett. A story that began with abandonment and rain and a child nobody wanted. A story that could have ended in tragedy but instead became a testimony. Marcus could have driven past. Could have told his driver to keep going. Could have assumed someone else would stop. Could have protected his expensive leather seats from a wet, disabled child. Could have been too busy, too important, too focused on his own life. But he stopped. And that one decision changed 2 lives forever. Isaiah could have stayed broken. Could have let that bus stop define him. Could have believed he was worthless, unwanted, too much trouble. Could have given up. But he didn't. He fought. He healed. He let people love him. And he became stronger than his worst day. David Bennett made unforgivable choices. Abandoned his son twice, once physically at a bus stop, once emotionally by lying about his mother's death. But he also did something remarkable. He admitted he was wrong. He got help. He did the hard work of changing. He proved that people can come back from their worst moments if they're willing to do the work. Angela never gave up. Spent 10 years looking for a son she'd held for 3 days as a baby. Never stopped hoping. Never stopped praying. And when she finally got her chance, she showed up with a mother's love that had been waiting a decade to be expressed. Dorothy Williams opened her home and her heart to a stranger's child. Became grandma to a boy who needed one. Showed that family is built through presence and love, not just biology. This story reminds us that we pass suffering every single day. People sitting at bus stops, literal and metaphorical, waiting for someone to see them. To stop. To care. We drive past in our expensive cars, our busy lives, our important meetings. We assume someone else will help. We protect ourselves from inconvenience. But what if we stopped? What if we asked if someone was okay? What if we got involved when it would be easier to keep driving? Marcus Williams had $300 million. He could have written a check to charity and felt good about himself. But instead he gave something more valuable than money. He gave time. Attention. Presence. Love. He became a father when he didn't have to. Built a family when he could have stayed comfortable and alone. The story also reminds us that broken people can heal. David Bennett was at his absolute lowest when he abandoned Isaiah. Depressed. Desperate. Ashamed. Making the worst possible choices. But with help, with structure, with consequences and accountability, he got better. Not perfect. Not instantly. But genuinely better. Redemption is possible for people who want it badly enough. Who are willing to admit they were wrong. Who are willing to do the hard work of changing. David will spend the rest of his life making up for that bus stop. But he's doing the work. And that matters. The story reminds us that the truth always matters. Isaiah deserved to know his mother was alive. Deserved to know he wasn't abandoned by her, but stolen from her. Lies, even ones we tell ourselves are protective, always hurt. Truth, even painful truth, allows healing to begin. Most importantly, this story reminds us that family is a choice. Isaiah ended up with 3 parents who all love him differently but genuinely. Marcus chose to be his father. Angela fought to be his mother. David chose to become a better father. None of it looks traditional. All of it is real. Today, Isaiah is thriving. 12 years old now. Excelling in school. Still doing physical therapy but stronger every month. He has a family that shows up to every doctor's appointment, every school play, every physical therapy session, every important moment. Marcus Williams started the Isaiah's Hope Foundation. It helps disabled children whose parents can't afford medical care or equipment. It provides resources, counseling, support. It makes sure no child ends up abandoned at a bus stop because their parent couldn't handle the struggle alone. Hundreds of families have been helped. Hundreds of children have gotten the care they needed. All because Marcus stopped for one boy in the rain. David Bennett works for the foundation now. He counsels other struggling parents. Runs support groups. Shares his story as a warning and a hope. I made the worst choice possible, he tells them. But I got a second chance. You can too. Ask for help before you hit your breaking point. There are people who will help you. There are resources. You don't have to do it alone. Angela Bennett volunteers at the foundation too. She helps families navigate the medical system. Advocates for children who need someone to fight for them. She got her son back. Now she helps other parents keep theirs. Every year on the anniversary of that rainy November day, the whole family gathers at that bus stop on 79th Street. They bring flowers. They pray. They remember how far they've come. This is where my old life ended and my new life began, Isaiah says. This is where Mr. Marcus stopped when everyone else drove past. This is where everything changed. If this story touched your heart today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Share it with someone who's thinking about driving past suffering. Share it with someone who thinks they're too broken to be redeemed. Share it with someone who believes family has to look a certain way. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that stopping for one person can change everything. Like this video, subscribe to Black Tales every day, and let us know in the comments, have you ever stopped when you could have driven past? Have you ever been the person waiting at the bus stop hoping someone would see you? What made you stop or what made someone stop for you? We want to hear your stories. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing that one person caring can change the world. Thank you for understanding that disability doesn't diminish worth, that broken people can heal, and that family is built through choice and love and showing up every single day. Until next time, may you have the courage to stop when others keep driving, the compassion to see people others ignore, the wisdom to know that helping one person won't change the world but it will change the world for that one person, and the love to build family wherever you find people worth keeping close. God bless you and yours. Keep stopping. Keep helping. Keep showing up. Keep being the person who makes the difference. Because somewhere out there, someone is sitting at a bus stop in the rain, hoping someone will see them.